Okay, this is where it all started, the drum set. Way back, and now we're back again. Hi, Christian Prommer here, and I will talk a little bit about my new project on K7, the Christian Prommer's drum lesson, with the new album called Zwei, which comes out in spring 2010. The whole project basically started around the idea that I was getting into the Strings of Life song from Derek May again.
When I was at Peter's apartment and we were listening to music, and he dug out an old Strings of Life version. I fell in love with it again. And then, you know, we played all the time when we DJ and stuff.
And then I discovered that it's like a jazz record basically, with the piano really leading the whole tune. And I had the idea to do a jazz version of it. And this is what I did with my friend Roberto Di Gioia on piano. He was amazing. Wolfgang Hafner at the time played the drums for it, which was brilliant, and everything worked together, and all of a sudden I had this Strings of Life jazz version. I did it basically for me just as a fun project, because I didn't know what I should do with a jazz record at the time. It was like 2004 maybe, when it was lying around for a year or more, until one of the Jazz Nova guys came by, Alexander Bark, and then he heard that and he didn't, you know, let it go anymore. He called me next day and wanted to sort of release it.
You know, Strings of Life has saved me so many times. You know, when you're playing in clubs around the world and you're kind of on a house tip and you can't get off it, and then you play that in the middle of the night and people are like, what's he doing? And then the actual melody comes in and they just go crazy.
Then it really took off, and then yeah, it was really great. And the record went everywhere. Everybody played it, and we had a great time putting together the whole project from this record. I like to collaborate with people, and my favorite collaborator is Peter Kruder. He was there when we recorded the album, and we mixed it at his fabulous studio. And I think he has one of the golden ears in the business, and it's really a pleasure to have him involved in this project. The intention of the whole project was to take dance music or electronic music and to have the energy of electronic music played by musicians and interpreted by musicians, but also improvised. I didn't want to have like a really fixed structure. I really want to have the musicians play freely and breathe. Basically, I wanted to combine the two, like the electronic, which is very fixed and very settled, and the improvisation without. The improvisation for me is not virtual improvisation with like amazing solos. It's more like spiritual grooving, or more space improvisation. The originals had a lot of that intention in it, and I of course wanted to translate it back to acoustic music and played music.
I really look forward to the next installment of the Christian Prommer's drum lesson.
Yeah, volume 2. We're going to be with it too. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Yeah, no way around it.
Definitely want to be.
It's going to be more based on this room first, then maybe the other room. So we're going to take it a little bit the other way around. More, yeah, a different one, not the same one. I don't want to do the same thing twice.
The new drum lesson project for me is an evolution from the last one. I didn't plan to do exactly the same thing again, and I wanted to take another angle or viewpoint at this kind of interpretations that are played with musicians from dance classics or electronic classics. And I was looking more into like an organic sound that was more like, it was also jazz rooted, but also in this whole German thing that was happening in the 70s. They might call it krautrock or hippie rock or whatever you want to name it. And so we had had good fun exploring this kind of sounds. We had like an original organ and a mini moog in the studio, and we used more electronic instruments to recreate this kind of sound than last time, where I did strictly acoustically my arrangements. And I think this time we went like a little more into the psychedelic world, and I really had a great time exploring that and playing with that. And it's more, yeah, it's very German in a way, and it's also, it's good fun to go in this direction. It was not really intentional to have like this big variety of musical genres in electronic music to be covered, but I would also like to take one of the like more popular innovators or multiplicators of electronic music, as with my last record I did a Kraftwerk tune, which is not a dance tune but it's an electronic tune, and this time I choose Oxygen from Drumlessons, which I think is one of the tracks that made like electronic music more like a household name. The other tracks are basically my favorite tracks that I really like and like to DJ, and we had a really strong relationship to it, and many of them are still in my record box when I play. But there's some really old tracks and some fairly new tracks. One of the key tracks for me is of course Jaguar, part of the Return of the Jaguar that came out on Underground Resistance, which is like the classic techno track ever. And I really had a brilliant time with my band developing these two parts. We have this like first part that's more like a rock part, and then it goes into the second part where it's like with prepared piano and a lot of acoustic guitars that are muted. I play like a lot of tom sounds on it, and I really had a brilliant time creating this kind of dance floor arrangement with the musicians. And I really think it really works well when you also play it out, and hopefully it's gonna be on the dance floor soon. For me it's all about variety anyway, because I think if you any subject has many layers and many angles to it, so I think it keeps it fresh if you try to find different ways of expressing the same thing through different angles. I called the project Christian Prommer's Drum Lesson because I felt always that I am taking the drum lesson from these amazing drummers that I worked with. And I had, like, on the first project we had Wolfgang Hafner play the drums and Ernst Ströer. And on the second one, Matthäus Grimali and also Ernst Ströer. And Ernst Ströer is just unbelievable. He's like the rhythm scientist. He has like instruments and sounds and everything. And for me it's a pleasure to even be in the same room with these guys, and that they play my music is just unbelievable. And every time we play a concert, so it's like I smile 24 hours before and afterwards, because it's just a brilliant experience for me.